Hi everyone, welcome to Yoga with Heini. I'm Heini, and this week I'm going to lead you through another backbending practice. Last week we started by opening the front line, and this week we're going to focus more on core as a support for bigger backbends. Let's get started. Some optional props for this week's practice are either yoga blocks or maybe some cushions. If you have some more pillows or cushions at home, you could use them instead of blocks as well. I'll use the cushions today so you can see how you could sometimes replace your blocks with cushions. So you could have blocks or cushions somewhere there next to your mat. And then we're going to start from lying down on the back. So when you have your space, when you have your potential props ready, come lie down on your back. And you could leave your knees bent, or if you want for a few breaths, you could extend the legs as well to start with a pose that feels good in your back. So make sure you're not hurting anywhere here. And take a few slightly deeper breaths in and out to begin with. If Ujjayi breath is part of your practice, for today's practice, that Ujjayi breath might be quite handy support as we are focusing more on the core. And I have a separate video about the Ujjayi breath, and I'll add a link to the end of this video where you can find that Ujjayi breath video if you want to go and practice just the breath. But for this practice now, just find your breath. Take another breath in and out. And then, if you have your legs extended, now bend your knees and walk your feet to the edges of your mat. So have your feet a bit wider apart than your hips, than your pelvis. And then you could either bring arms overhead, have them resting on the mat, or just leave them somewhere next to your sides. And we do a few windshield wipers here to begin with, just swinging the legs from side to side, getting a bit of movement into the hips. You can allow your whole pelvis, your lower back to move. And then next time when you bring your knees to the right side of the mat, leave your legs resting there on the right side of the mat, keeping your feet, your legs a bit wider apart. And this way you might get a bit of a stretch opening in the front of the left thigh, left hip. Just checking in with the front line. Take another breath in and out. Make sure this is not hurting anywhere. Not in the knees, not in the hips. And then next in breath, bring your legs, your knees back up to the center. And then lower your knees, your legs to the left side of the mat. Again, keeping the legs quite wide apart. Knees don't have to touch the mat. It might be that at least one knee is off the mat. And on this side, maybe there's a bit of a stretch opening in the front of the right hip, right thigh. Take another breath in and out. And then again with the in breath, bring your legs, your knees back up to the center. And now bring your arms down next to the sides if you have had your arms overhead. And we're going to go into a few bridge lifts. So our first back bend. And this is where a block or just a cushion between the legs might help us just engage, fire the inner thighs a bit more and just bring awareness to the legs, the inner thighs as part of our core support. So first inhale, exhale, and with that exhalation, slightly draw in through the lower belly and just gently squeeze the inner thighs towards your block or your cushion between the legs. Feel the feet pressing onto the mat. as with your next exhalation, as you gently squeeze your block or pillow, also press down through the feet and elevate your pelvis, your back off the mat. We don't need to go into a full bridge, more focus on the legs and still gently squeezing inner thighs towards your block or pillow. Stay here for another breath in. And then as you exhale, slowly lower the back, lower the pelvis down and keep the legs active. Keep that gentle squeezing going on. Inhale down on the mat. You can relax your buttocks. And then exhale again. Press down through the feet and elevate the pelvis, the back slightly off the mat. Just checking that we're not letting the knees, the thighs drop out to the side. We keep the inner thighs firing up, engaged. Feet pressing down. Take another breath in. And then exhale again. Slowly lower the back, lower the pelvis down. Inhale as your pelvis arrives back on the mat. You can relax your buttocks. We'll do one more round with your own exhalation. Press the feet down. Lift your pelvis, lift your back off the mat. So there is a slight back bend going on, but nothing too deep yet. Take another breath in and breathe a bit more to the chest here. And exhale again, slowly lower the back, lower the pelvis down. And then if you have something between the legs, put that something aside. And from here, lift your right leg up towards the ceiling. And for this next leg, kind of lowering and raising movement, you have an option to either keep arms down next to the sides, or you could bring arms again over the head. That might make the movement, the pose a bit stronger. You choose. And we'll start with the most gentle option here, keeping that left leg bent. So you have your left foot on the mat. First, as you inhale, lower the right leg down, not all the way down on the mat, but just hovering the right leg off the mat. And here, check that you don't let your back collapse. Keep your core drawing in, keep your belly drawing in. And then exhale, elevate the right leg back up. We'll repeat this another 4 times. As you inhale, lower the right leg down, but hover it off the mat. And as you exhale, start the exhalation from the lower belly. Lift the right leg back up. Now, if this feels too easy, extend your left leg onto the mat and try again. Inhale, lower the right leg down and keep drawing in through the lower belly. As you exhale from the lower belly, lift the right leg back up. We have 2 more rounds. If you want to add a bit more extra challenge there, hover your left leg off the mat. Inhale, lower the right leg down. So now both legs stay off the mat. Exhale from the lower belly, lift the right leg back up again. Still keep the left leg hovering. 1 more round. Inhale, lower the right leg down. Keep drawing into the lower belly. Exhale, bring the right leg back up. And then release the left leg down and hug both knees in towards the chest. Couple of breaths in and out. You could rock a bit from side to side. And then we'll do same to the other side. So now, first, bring right foot on the mat and elevate your left leg up towards the ceiling. Remember, you have options to keep arms down next to the sides, or you could have them overhead. You choose. You can draw in through the lower belly. Inhale more to the chest, more to the ribs. As you lower the left leg down, keep it off the mat. And exhale from the lower belly, bringing the left leg back up. Same again. As you inhale, lower your left leg slowly down. Hover it off the mat. Exhale from the lower belly, bring the left leg back up. Again, we can add challenge. We could extend the right leg, maybe keeping it still down on the mat. And inhale, lower the left leg down. Exhale from the lower belly, lift the left leg back up. 2 more rounds, and you have the option, if you want, hover your right leg off the mat. And then inhale, lower the left leg down. Exhale, lift the left leg back up, keeping the right leg off the mat. 1 last round. Inhale, lower the left leg down. And exhale, bring the left leg back up. And then release the right leg down. And now step your both feet on the mat, knees bent. And just a few more windshield wipers. Swing the legs from side to side in a more relaxed way. Take a couple of deeper breaths in and out. So hopefully now feel a bit of activation in the core. And then after your windshield wipers, roll to one side and bring yourself all the way up. And we're going to come all the way up onto all fours. So coming onto hands and knees. If your knees are sensitive, we're going to stay here a little while. So if your knees are sensitive, you could put a pillow, a cushion under the knees if you feel that the knees start to hurt here. Bring your hands about under your shoulders and knees about under your hips. You could have your toes tucked under because that might help you to use the activation from feet to inner thighs more. And then we're going to continue balancing, activating the core. Now leave your left hand and right knee on the mat. And then inhale slowly. Lift your left leg behind you and reach right arm in front of you. So balancing on one hand, one knee. Inhale here. And then as you exhale, again drawing in from the lower belly, now bring your left knee, right elbow towards each other. Maybe they even touch. And then inhale, lengthen the right arm, the left leg away from each other. Same again. Imagine the movement starting from the core. Exhale, the knee, the elbow coming towards each other. And then inhale, they lengthen, they reach away from each other. 2 more times. Exhale, bring the left knee, the right elbow in towards each other. And inhale, lengthen, actively reach them away from each other. 1 more time. Exhale, bring them into the center. And inhale, reach them away from each other. Now, stay here another breath, just balancing on one hand, one knee. Keep breathing. And then exhale, bring the knee down onto the mat. And lower yourself down onto elbows to take some weight off that left hand. And just circle yourself a few times from elbows to knees, knees to elbows, allowing the hips, the shoulders to move. You could soften the neck as well. And then we're going to do that balancing movement on the other side. So bring yourself back onto your hands and knees. And this time we're going to leave the right hand and left knee onto the mat. So slowly, as you inhale, reach your left arm, right leg away from each other, off the mat. Find your balance. Check that you can still breathe. And then as you exhale from the lower belly, bring your right knee, your left elbow in towards each other. They might touch. And inhale, reach them away from each other. Same again. As you exhale from the core, draw in, bring the right knee, left elbow in, and inhale, lengthen them away from each other. 2 more times. Exhale, bring the knee, the elbow in. Inhale, reach the left arm, the right leg away from each other. 1 last time. Exhale, drawing in. The knee, the elbow, maybe again touching, but coming towards each other. And then inhale, lengthen them out and balance here. Breathe once, in and out. And then slowly bring your left hand, the right knee back onto the mat. And now lean the pelvis back. You can release the toes. Come into child's pose. And here, lift your hands onto fingertips, cupcake hands. And then release the head, release the neck down. And take a few breaths in and out. You might rock the pelvis a bit from side to side. Take another breath in and out. And then slowly, slowly bring the palms back on the mat. Lift yourself onto hands and knees. And then we're going to lift all the way into downward facing dog. So check your hands are stable. Tuck the toes under. And exhale, lift the pelvis up. Coming into your downward dog. You can move the feet a bit here. And release the neck. Let your head drop down. Try to keep that lifting, reaching up through the pelvis going on. Take another breath in and out. And then you could look forward to your hands and slowly step your right foot to your hands into a runner's lunge. You can let your pelvis come a bit further down, so a bit of opening in the front of the left hip. Breathe here in and out. And then ground your hands, step back into downward dog, again lifting the pelvis up. And same to the other side. Shift weight to your hands. Step your left foot to your hands so that your left knee is about on top of the left ankle. And you can bring the pelvis just a bit lower down. Opening in the front of the right hip. Take another breath here. And then we're going to step both feet forward. So slowly step the right foot to your left foot. Maybe about hip width apart your feet, and then round your back, come into full forward bend. And you could leave your knees bent. It's the first full forward bend, so take it easy. If you feel it's really, really strong stretch now, you could lean your elbows onto your thighs, so stay just a bit higher up. And again, check the neck. Try to release the neck, head down. Take a couple more breaths in and out. You could always hang all the way down. Maybe hands come all the way down to the mat. Breathe in. And then as you exhale, press your feet down and slowly start to roll the back up. As you come up, reach arms up towards the ceiling. Open the chest. And then exhale, bring the arms down. And now bring hands together behind your pelvis. Interlock fingers. And then inhale, open the chest. So breathing to the chest, the hands, the arms. You can just gently, gently pull the shoulders down away from the ears. Breathe in and out. Again, breathing more to the chest. And then slowly release the pose, release the arms. And you could roll the shoulders a bit. Take a couple of breaths in and out. And from here, as we continue into bigger back bends, try to keep ease in your breath. When we go into bigger, deeper back bends, taking big, deep breaths is not going to be possible anymore. So more think about just ease of breath. And it might be that the breath is a bit more shallow, and that's very, very fine. Trying to keep core engaged and more breathing to the chest and out to the ribs. We're going to come into a full back bend, standing back bend now. And try to find that same idea, same support in the legs as we did in bridge when we're lying down. So if you want, you could now reach for your block or your pillow and bring it between the inner thighs. So you can find that same gentle squeezing in through the inner thighs. Bring hands onto your lower back and start to press down through the feet, through the heels, like you did in bridge pose. And then as you inhale, lift your chest up. So let your chest open, breathing to that chest space. And exhale, continue lifting up and slowly leaning just a bit further back into your standing back bend. Go only so far that you feel safe. There should be no pain in the back, no pain in the shoulders or legs. And use the breath. Each inhalation, opening the chest, lifting you up. Each exhalation, maybe going just a tiny bit further into that back bend. Keeping the legs active. Keep squeezing the pillow or the block between the legs. Take another breath in and out. You might even let your head go further back. But if that feels painful in the neck, just keep your chin close to the chest. And then first bring chin to the chest and slowly lift yourself back up to the center. Release the hands, release the arms. Bring hands together and now turn your palms away from the chest and then round the back. So go the opposite way with your upper back. You can let your head lean forward as well. Breathe into your upper back. Counter pose. And then slowly come back to center. Open the chest. If you have a block or a pillow between the legs, put that prop aside now. And here we're going to do a couple of rounds of Sun Salutation. And try to think through the Sun Salutation, that activation through your core, through your legs. First, inhale and exhale, pressing down through the feet. And then with your next in-breath, lengthen arms up towards the ceiling. And exhale, bring arms sideways down, roll down through the spine. You bring hands or fingertips on the mat. Inhale, come halfway up into flat back, hands on the shins, open the chest. And then exhale, bring hands back down and step your both feet back into plank pose. Now keep the legs active. As you exhale, slowly lower yourself all the way down onto the mat. You can release the toes. Then inhale into a small cobra pose, small back bend. Then exhale, lower back down. Inhale on the mat. And as you exhale, lift onto hands and knees, the pelvis coming off the mat first. Tuck the toes under and lift back into downward dog. Head can drop down. Breathe in and out here. And then slowly start to tiptoe your feet to your hands, lifting up through the pelvis. You can bend the knees, bring feet down. Exhale, round the back into full forward bend. As you inhale, roll the back up, reach arms up. We go to second round. Exhale, bring arms again sideways down, roll down through the spine. Hands can come down. You can bend your knees. Inhale to flat back, hands on the shins. Feel the back line engaging here. Exhale, bring hands down and step your both feet back into plank and keep lifting up through your thighs here. Exhale, slowly come down. So through a low plank, bring chest, your belly down. Release the toes and inhale into cobra. Keep the legs active here. And exhale, lower down. And now inhale first. Then exhale, lift the pelvis, the belly off the mat. Then finally the chest. Tuck the toes under and continue into downward dog. You can adjust hands, you can adjust feet. Breathe in and out, head can drop down. And then again, start to tiptoe your feet to your hands, slowly, slowly, lifting up through the pelvis. and round the back. Exhale into full forward bend. Inhale, roll the back up, reach arms up. And then exhale, just release the arms down. Back into mountain pose, back into that Tadasana pose. You can roll the shoulders. Breathe in and out. And then we're going to come into our next bigger back bend. If you are running out of space in front of you, take one step back so you're maybe somewhere in the middle of the mat. We're going to come into the dancer pose or half bow. So balancing pose. First, stand on your left foot and bring your right leg behind you. And then exhale, ground down through your left foot and bend the right knee. We're going to reach to the right foot with our right hand, and you can either hold the inside or outside of your right foot. I'm going to hold the inside because it helps me to, again, use the inner thighs more. I can, in a way, press the right foot against the right hand to fire the inner thigh more. And you could try if that suits you as well. Just check how you feel in the right shoulder. Once you've found your balance, inhale and lengthen your left arm either in front, so you can look over the left hand fingers, or you can reach left arm all the way up towards the ceiling. And this could be your dance or your half bow pose today. Balance here. Or exhale into a bigger back bend. Start to reach your chest forward and at the same time tilt forward through the pelvis and gently reach back and up through your right leg. And here, taking deep breaths is probably quite challenging, so more focus on the ease of breath. Breathe more to the chest, breathe to the ribs, and keep a subtle lifting in through the lower belly. Grounding down through that left foot. Every exhalation grounds you down. Take another breath in and out. Keep inner thighs active. And then slowly with the next in-breath, bring yourself back up to center. Let the inner thighs find each other. They say hello to each other. And then release feet down, release arms down. And now a few times, round your back, bring arms in front, reach arms up to the sky. Inhale. Exhale, circle the arms sideways down. Same again. Round the back, bring head down. And inhale, reach the arms up, open the chest. Exhale, arms down. Once more, round the upper back. Arms meet, they reach up. And then as you exhale, round your back, come all the way down into full forward bend. A counter pose for that dancer pose. Couple of breaths in and out. You could slightly swing the upper body from side to side. And then after those couple of breaths, slowly bring yourself back up. You can roll up through the spine. Back into mountain pose. And we'll go into dancer pose on the other side. So on this side, we're going to stand on the right foot. Bring left leg behind you and find a focus point for your gaze. Something that's not moving. It really helps with balancing. And then ground down through the right foot. As you exhale, bend the left knee. Left foot comes closer to left buttock. And reach left hand to the left foot. Again, you might hold the inside or outside of the foot. That depends a bit on your shoulders as well. But if you found it helpful on the first side, try here as well, holding the inner foot and just gently press the left leg against that left hand, firing the inner thighs. With in-breath, lengthen your right arm either in front, look over the fingers, or lengthen right arm all the way up towards the ceiling. And you can stay here, find your dancer here, Or exhale, start to reach your chest forward, reach your left leg behind you and slightly up towards the ceiling. Finding a deeper back bend. And in that back bend, we keep breathing. Again, breathing more to the chest space. Make sure there's no pain in the back. And keep grounding down through your right foot. Inner thighs active. Legs, arms, everything connected to the core, connected to your spine. Take another breath in and out. And then slowly, as you inhale, come back up to center. And let the inner thighs find each other. And then release the left foot down. Release both arms down. And just like we did after the first side, moving the arms round the back. Then reach arms up to the sky and inhale to the chest. Exhale, arms down. Again, round the upper back. Reach arms up, inhale. Exhale, arms come sideways down. Once more, round the upper back. Inhale, reaching up. And now as you exhale, roll all the way down into that full forward bend. Head releasing down, arms releasing down. Take a couple of breaths in and out. Knees could be bent. Just allowing opening along the back side of the body. And then from that full forward bend, bring hands to mat and walk into downward dog. Walk your hands and feet far apart. And here you might give a bit of a stretch for your calves, pedaling the feet, pressing the heels gently down. And you have an option to either stay in a longer downward dog or add a vinyasa flow here. If you want, inhale, come forward to plank pose, and then exhale slowly down to low plank and onto your belly. Inhale to cobra, small back bend. And then exhale, release the chest down. Inhale on the mat. Exhale, lift onto hands and knees. Tuck the toes under. Exhale all the way into downward dog. Head can drop down. And either stay still in your downward dog or add one last vinyasa flow if you want. Inhaling forward to plank. And then with your exhalation, slowly down. Keep lifting up through the thighs. Pelvis comes down. Inhale to cobra. Inhale towards the chest space. Exhaling back down to the mat. Inhale down on the mat. And then exhale once more to hands and knees. Tucking the toes under. Going all the way into downward dog. Head releasing down. And slowly bring your knees down and come into child's pose. Like we did before. Release the toes and lift hands onto fingertips. So those cupcake hands again. Just allowing the fingers, the palms, the wrists turn the other way slightly. Take a couple of breaths in and out. And then slowly, slowly, from your child's pose, bring yourself up to sitting on your shins. And then we're going to come into one more back bend, our peak pose, the camel pose. And here again, if you know that you have sensitive knees, if you have pillows, something soft there, you could bring that something soft under your knees, because now we're going to come stand up on our knees. And then you have an option to either keep your ankles, your feet pointed, or if it feels okay, I suggest tucking the toes under, because this would again allow you to use the feet, maybe fire the inner thighs a bit more. And like we did in our standing full back bend, bring hands onto your lower back. And now imagine your sit bones at the bottom of the pelvis, reaching down to the backs of the knees, at the same time lifting in through the lower belly. Next in-breath, lift your chest up, open the ribs, open the chest space. And then exhale, slowly lean a bit further back into a small back bend to begin with. And that could be plenty enough. This could be your camel. Stay here. Focus on breathing, bringing more to the chest. Or if you want to go further, slowly reach hands to the heels, to the feet, but keep lifting up through the chest. So imagine you're leaning onto a very, very big exercise ball, very, very big Swiss ball. So you have all that support behind you and slight resistance on the front side. So keep drawing in through the lower belly gently. And keep lengthening up through the chest. Again, if you want, you could even bring your head further back. If that hurts in the neck, keep your chin closer to the chest. Take another breath in and out. And then bring your chin to your chest, hands onto lower back. And slowly lift yourself up away from the camel. And then bring hands onto the mat. And a few times circle the pelvis. Just a bit of movement for the hips. You can change the direction like we did in the beginning. Just moving a bit on all fours. Good. And we stay on hands and knees. If you have pillow under legs, you might keep it there. We'll come into thread the needle twist. So from here, leave your right hand on the mat and then exhale, slide your left arm under the right arm so that you can lower your left shoulder, lower your head down to the mat. And you can now choose if your pelvis is on top of the knees, or if you want to lean the pelvis more back, like coming into child's pose. So this could also be a twisted child's pose. Right hand could stay on the mat, or reach the right arm behind your back, behind the pelvis. You might reach the right hand to your left thigh, to your left hip, allowing a twist and maybe a bit of an opening along the left side of the body, from your left hip all the way into the left shoulder. Take a couple more breaths in and out. Make sure you're not collapsing in the neck. And then if you have right arm behind the back, slowly bring the right hand down. And now as you inhale, reach left arm all the way up to the ceiling. So twisting to the other side. And exhale, bring the left hand down. And then we'll do same to the other side. So now leave your left hand down. And as you exhale, slide your right arm under the left arm. So you could lean your right shoulder and head onto the mat. Again, you can adjust the pelvis. Do you want to lean into child's pose? Do you want to keep your hips on top of the knees? And if you want, you could bring that left arm behind the back. Maybe even reach left hand to the right thigh. And breathe in and out. You can still adjust the pelvis. What would give you a bit of an opening along the right side body, some twisting through the spine, where you can still breathe, where there's space for you to breathe. Take another breath in and out in your twist. And then release the left hand back onto the mat. As you inhale, now reach right arm all the way up towards the ceiling, twisting the other way. And then release, right hand down. You could rock a couple of times from side to side. And then from all fours, you could now cross your ankles, your shins, and sit over the ankles so you can come sitting on the pelvis. And then we're going to come back lying down on the back where we started from. If you have blocks or pillows, have them nearby as you bring yourself to lie down on the back. You can just let your back adjust first. If you want, you could extend the legs for a few breaths. Just see how that feels. Maybe rock the hips a bit from side to side. And then we're going to come into a reclining butterfly pose. So if you have your legs extended, bend your knees and now bring feet close together and then let your hips open so that you turn your knees out to the sides of the mat. And this is where you could use pillows or blocks under the legs. If you feel it's more relaxing, it's more releasing to have some support under the legs, this is where you could use those props. Arms could stay down close to your sides or maybe hands on the belly. Or you could bring arms overhead next to the head so the arms are resting down on the floor. And send a few slightly deeper belly breaths all the way down towards the pelvis here. So now we start to release that core support. If you've been using your Ujjayi breath, let go of your Ujjayi breath. Let the lower belly soften. Let the inner thighs soften. So letting go of the engagement, the tension that we've been building up through the practice. Couple more breaths in and out. If this reclining butterfly feels really good right now, you could stay here longer. Or if you wish to round your back a bit, close the legs and then hug your knees in towards the chest. And from here, you could open legs into the happy baby pose. So bringing knees out towards the armpits, then reaching hands to feet. Again, either holding outside or inside of the feet, or holding ankles or back of the knees. And then lift the soles of the feet up towards the ceiling. So coming back to those inner thighs. But now you could let your lower back round. So it could be that the back of the pelvis comes off the mat. What would feel good now after all those back bends we've been doing? What would release your inner thighs? What would release your back, your core? Take a few more breaths in and out wherever you are. And if you just want to hug the knees, that is very, very fine as well. Choose what feels good for you now. And then after those few breaths, slowly start to release the legs back down if you have them higher up. And we're going to come into Shavasana pose, into our final resting pose. And it could be that you want to come lie down on the back, maybe knees bent. You could lean the knees, the thighs against each other. You could extend your legs. And if you have props, you could bring some props under the knees, under the thighs. That might ease lower back as well. Find any easy pose, what feels good for you now. And let yourself rest a moment. You might even close your eyes. And bring your full awareness to your breath. To a calm, soft flow, easy flow in your own breath. Allowing each exhalation to soften tension, release effort. Also allowing yourself just to take a moment to notice how you feel now. After all those back bends, as we're coming towards the end of the practice. How does the body feel now? Give yourself a few more breaths in your resting pose. Or if you wish to continue resting, if you want to take a longer Shavasana pose now, you're very welcome to stay here as long as you want, as long as you need today. When you feel ready to slowly start closing the practice, take a couple of deeper breaths in and out. Wiggle your fingers, your toes. Bring gentle movement back to your hands, to your feet. Maybe circle the wrist joints, ankle joints. And you could stretch arms overhead. Reach hands and feet away from each other. And then slowly roll down onto one side, either left or the right side. And then from your side, bring yourself up into a seat. And this final seat could be any easy pose of your choice, where you could give yourself a few more breaths to let go of the practice, to close the practice. If it's part of your practice, bring your palms together in front of the chest. And as always, at the end of the practice, thank yourself for bringing yourself onto the mat, into your practice and into your body today. And I thank you very much for joining in. Namaste. Thank you. Good. I hope you enjoyed the practice. If you did, please give the video a thumbs up and leave a comment below. Let me know how these backbends felt for you. And also, if you know there's someone who might enjoy this practice, please share the video with them. It really helps the channel to grow. Thank you again for joining in, and I'll see you on the next video. Bye!